Good morning, and welcome to the Ranch Report. This is where transparency lives. Today is Monday, April 27th, 2026, and I am your host, Mark Falcone. Folks, I've got a great show planned up for all of you today. In this episode, I will be discussing the upcoming Board of Director election here at EHR. You know, the Ranch Report is still very new. I believe, this is my 7th or 8th episode, and I'm still very green as a host. But today, we're going to do something new and something very different. I figure I might as well go big or go home. Providing everything goes well from a technical standpoint, later in the show, I will be joined by a very special guest for an interview. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, the views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the host, yours truly, and may not reflect the views, thoughts, and opinions of East Highlands Ranch, East Highlands Ranch Board of Directors, or their managing agent, the Management Trust. All right, so this is the week that ballots for the EHR Board of Directors election will begin to arrive in your mailbox. This election is critical. It's your opportunity to shape the future of our community, and your participation truly matters. You know, on average, our voter turnout runs about a paltry 16%, or roughly 400 votes every election. So if you're listening to this podcast and you have never voted before, or if you seldom vote, do me a favor. Make it a point to vote in this election, because your vote can truly decide the future of East Highlands Ranch. You know, for those of you that have followed me for any length of time, you've heard me talk about what I call the ruling class. This group includes both current and now former board members, such as Fred Yager, Dan Batista, Pat McCurry, Bob Hamilton, and Gary Underwood. Over the last 20 years, I believe this group has focused on their own personal agendas, and they have governed without transparency. When decisions happen behind closed doors, it takes away your voice and mine, and it truly robs all of us of a better tomorrow. When you have served 20 years or more, you lose track of who you really serve, and you end up serving yourself. You become drunk on the power you think you have, and you refuse to relinquish your seat, even when the signs are obvious you need to go. Can anybody say Gary Underwood? You know, last year we had a major accomplishment, and we made significant progress. We defeated Batista and Yager, but that still left 3 members of this ruling class in place. And on a 5-member board, 3 is a majority. Hamilton and Underwood are desperate to retain their seats. They know if they lose, the ruling class ends, full stop. They also know, should they lose, there is a strong likelihood TMT will lose EHR as an account. Could you imagine being Damian Jenkins, president of the Desert Division for TMT, and having to tell his CEO, Bill Sasser, I just lost a 40-year account? Folks, this year we have another real opportunity, a golden opportunity to achieve even a greater accomplishment. We can end this ruling class for good by removing Gary Underwood and Bob Hamilton. We do this and it's game over. And we can truly bring about a new beginning for East Highlands Ranch and move our community in a new direction. I want to take a moment and look at the candidate statements for both Gary Underwood and Bob Hamilton. I want to start with Bob Hamilton. Of the ruling class members, Bob probably has served the least amount of time. I think it's about 6 years. But he's still a veteran director. But his candidate statement is very passive. There are no clear goals. He doesn't identify any issues or opportunities, and there certainly are no action steps. But in his candidate statement, Hamilton says he is concerned about rising assessments, but just 2 months ago he voted to increase them. I don't want to gloss over that, so let me repeat it. In Hamilton's candidate statement, he says he's concerned about rising assessments. But just 2 months ago, February 25th to be exact, he voted to increase your assessments by $12 beginning in just a few days, May 1st. I guess Hamilton doesn't understand. Your actions must match your words, or you lose all credibility. Now let's take a look at Underwood's candidate statement. Underwood has served for 2 decades. That's 20 years. Folks, that's a hell of a long time. No one should be allowed to serve 20 years consistently. And that's one reason why I believe we need term limits. But that's a podcast for another day. When a 20-year incumbent is running for re-election, you should expect they know the business, they know the issues and opportunities, and their goals and priorities should be very crystal clear. But if you look at Underwood's candidate statement, his 4 goals and 4 priorities are very vague, and they certainly lack specificity. That's concerning, and it should be concerning to you as well. However, Underwood does brag that he initiated the remodel of the ranch meadow pool and what he calls a bathhouse. I don't know, perhaps someone can explain to me what a bathhouse is. If you recall, the remodel of the ranch meadow pool was originally budgeted at $1.1 million. But with all of the change orders and all of the board's unbudgeted add-ons, when it was all said and done, this project came in at $2 million. And as a result, our reserves dropped dangerously low to about 38% being funded. I don't see Underwood boasting about this gross over expenditure, and that's not something to overlook. Underwood can brag all he wants that he initiated this remodel, but at the end of the day, he needs to be held accountable for this bondoodle of a project that came in $1 million over budget. You know, they will propagandize you and instill fear in your mind over a potential settlement claim that isn't even enough to purchase a high-end automobile, telling you it will drive your assessment sky high. Yet, they go and spend an extra $1 million and they aren't even transparent about it. Underwood goes on to say he won't disparage other directors publicly. But I've seen something different, completely different. And if you've attended board meetings, you've seen it too. I guess like Hamilton, Underwood fails to realize if your actions don't match your words, you might as well stick a fork in you because you're basically cooked. Take, for example, last June. It was our first board meeting as a new board. During board comments, Underwood stood up and rolled me. He criticized me publicly simply because he didn't like my campaign. All the while his wife Bernice signaled to him from the audience with her hand across her neck to shut me up. If you recall, for those of you that were there, he tried twice to stifle me. But that didn't bother me as much as what happened last month. After our homeowner town hall last month, 2 residents approached both Underwood and myself. Yeah, they were very passionate. But yet, they deserved to be heard. I literally watched Underwood turn his back mid-sentence and walk away from these homeowners. At the same time, his wife Bernice, again, approached me and questioned whether I had put these homeowners up to being vocal. Drama, for sure, but this is not the kind of leadership you should expect from a director, especially the president of the board. Folks, this election provides us a golden opportunity, an opportunity for a better tomorrow. Today's a first for the Ranch Report podcast, and I'm pleased to be joined by a special guest. Leticia Labrada. Leticia is one of the candidates looking to unseat both Underwood and Hamilton. You have seen her photo, you have read her statement, now you get the chance to hear from her directly. Let me welcome Leticia Labrada. Letty, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Mark, for having me and for doing this podcast. I appreciate the opportunity to let me reach out and speak to so many other homeowners. I've tried to meet as many as I can at all of the events that we've had, but this is a great opportunity to be able to be heard. So thank you.
Excellent. You know, Letty, I remember your first board meeting. You saw things you didn't agree with, and afterwards you asked me, how do I get involved? That
Yes.
enthusiasm and that initiative was certainly great to see. Letty, this is your opportunity for the community to hear from you. So I'm going to ask you 6 questions. But first, I'd like to begin with you introducing yourself.
Sure, thank you. So my name is Letitia Labrada, or Letty. I'm married. We've loved being a part of the HOA, the ranch community with our children, enjoying all the amenities it has to offer, partaking in a lot of the activities. I have my mobile charcuterie cart, Let's Tasty Bites. And so, in being able to meet a lot of families at all the events that I've had a chance to be a part of, it's been really great and wonderful for my family to do all of that. I'm also working at a CPA audit firm local in town. I've been doing that for about 30 years now. And I am a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. I joined right out of high school because it's always been important for me to be a part of something bigger than me and to be able to contribute and help for 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 everyone to, for the betterment of everyone, not just for what I get out of it, but to help everyone else as much as I can. That's always been important to me.
Excellent, Letty. And I just want to thank you for your service to our country. The first question, and it's a two-part question. What specifically led you to run for the board of East Highlands Ranch?
My interactions with the staff members of the community were at best rough. I never got a feeling of being wanted to be a part of the community. And in talking to a lot of homeowners, others have expressed the same sentiment as I have. It's not a welcoming environment as soon as you walk in. At least that was my experience, and I want to change that. I want to change the way that you're being treated, right off the bat when you're introduced to the community. I want everyone to feel wanted and important, and what they have to say matters and listened to. Like I said, that was not my experience, and I don't want anyone to go through what I went through. So definitely for the community to feel heard, that's that's a big priority for me. So I want to run to change how people feel.
Excellent. And the second part of that question, Letty, what perspective or experience do you bring that you believe is currently missing?
What what I went through is something that I want to change for other homeowners. So I don't want them to have the same experience that I had where they felt that they're not really wanted or listened to, or what they have to say doesn't matter. Because that's how I went through. Every person on the board to this day has yet to come up to me and shake my hand, introduce themselves, say, "Hi, my name is so and so. What's your name? What do you like? What do you not like?" Just to have the conversations where you can learn a lot about what goes on in the community by talking to the members. And that hasn't happened with me, and I want to change that. I want to have the conversations and the discussions that lead to the changes that need to be made, so that it's just a better place for everyone to be a part of.
I certainly understand how you feel there. The second question, what principles would guide your approach to assessments, reserves, and overall spending priorities?
One of the main things I want to tackle regarding finances is to fine tooth comb those reports. I do see that there's so much financial waste going on, and the best way to stop the hemorrhaging of money is to go line by line and know where the funds are going, what they're being used for. Maybe there's better companies. Maybe we can do RFPs, go out for proposals. Maybe we can see what someone else has to offer. We'll probably get a better understanding of the services available, change everything regarding finances line by line. It has to be done, delicately, working with the finance committee, partnering with them, and seeing the best use of the homeowners' funds.
There certainly is a lot of fat that can be trimmed from that budget. Question three, how would you improve transparency and communication between the board and homeowners?
One of the things I do want to focus on is getting more homeowner involvement. A lot of the families that I've talked to, say they don't want anything to do with the HOA. They don't like working with it. They don't like the people that are involved in it. And so I do want to offer a Zoom. That way, if you're not able to attend, you're still aware of what is being discussed at the HOA meetings. The homeowners that don't go, that can't make it, they're working or they physically can't make it to the meetings, they still deserve to know what's being voted on, what's being discussed, what issues are being brought up. And a Zoom meeting is going to be able to allow every household with a computer, a cell phone, to be able to take part of the meetings and listen to what's going on. I also wanted to see if we can add maybe a paragraph or a section in the magazine that we get mailed to us every month, just recapping or detailing the HOA board meetings so that the homeowners can read what issues are being discussed. Maybe then they'll be able to attend or attend through Zoom and be more involved in the decisions that are being made. Right now, I can honestly tell you a lot of the families I talk with have no interest to be involved whatsoever because they always say their voice doesn't matter. So we need to change that. We need to make sure homeowners know this is what's up for discussion, for voting. Help us. What do you think? What do you prefer? What do you want to see? To get the community involved, to get the results they want.
You faded out there, so I could just barely hear the last part of it. But I agree with what you're saying because you were in the green room when I gave a little monologue, but I mentioned the fact that during elections, we usually get a paltry 16% turnout. And that's only 400 homes out of the 2,488. So I've been here 33 years, and homeowner involvement has always been a challenge. So I'm glad that's on your radar. Question 4. It's a two-part question. How do you approach conflict, and how would you ensure decisions are made in the best interest of the community?
One of the things I feel is missing is to be able to listen to both sides of the story. A lot of the homeowners, when they're approaching the compliance committee for something they want to do, they just get told no. That's it, just a straight no. And it seems to be more of a power trip than a discussion. Instead of just saying no, let's tell the homeowners, well, we can't do that, but here are two other options that you can't do. Or this isn't going to pass approval, but you have the option to do this and this instead. So let's treat the homeowners like respectable homeowner adults that they are, instead of just scolding them, telling them, no, you can't do this. And that's not the way to treat homeowners.
Absolutely not. The fifth question, and it's another two-part question. What do you see as the most important issue facing East Highlands Ranch, and what would be your first step in addressing that issue?
I think follow through and getting the issues resolved. I've attended so many meetings where the same topic is brought up at every single meeting. And then you get the false promises from the board that it's going to be taken care of, it's going to be handled, we're going to deal with it, and nothing happens. So, one thing that I do want to change is follow through. So if someone brings an issue to the board, we decide how we're going to handle it, assign it to someone. This is your duty for a month or two, however long it takes. You get it resolved. You report back with your results. Move on, move on. Because adding more on our to-do list isn't productive. It's tackling one item at a time. And if something gets brought up and we say we're going to handle it as a board, then let's. But I haven't seen that in the time I've been here. I've just seen the same issues over and over with the yeah, we'll take care of it. But it never gets handled. So that's definitely something I want to change, the follow through.
Excellent. And the follow through. If your words don't match your actions, then you lose all credibility. So the final question. It's a two-part question. The final two-part question. If elected, how should homeowners hold you accountable?
Talking to me, having the continued conversations every time I'm out, I get to meet everyone. Ask me the questions that need to be asked. Let me know what situations you're dealing with. We can work through, have a happy medium, find a great resolve. And the following month, when you see me again, ask me, hey, what happened with that? And hopefully we have answers. We have more productivity. We have things that are flowing and getting done and crossed off the list. And instead of, oh, I don't know, maybe next month, or maybe next month, or maybe next month, you're not going to get those answers from me. You're going to get more productive, realistic answers of what is happening in order to resolve the issues that the homeowners are bringing. Because every homeowner is important. Every single one deserves to be listened to and not have the president turn their back on you. For you to be talking and completely dismissed, that will not happen on my watch. That's disgusting behavior, and no homeowner deserves to be treated that way. Everyone needs to be listened, and I promise to follow through.
So you saw that event last month too. So interesting. And then the second part of that question, how would you handle a situation where you strongly disagreed with the majority of the board?
I think one of the pluses I have for me is that I'm a Hispanic minority Marine Corps veteran. So I don't take no for an answer. I don't give up easily. I'm willing to fight the good fight, even though it's an uphill battle, but I'm willing to put in the time and the effort that it takes for the betterment of the HOA community. It's not what I'm going to get out of it. I'm going to give a lot of myself and my time and my energy just to make sure we come up with solutions that are good for everyone. I don't like where everything gets promised and nothing gets done. That's definitely not going to be me. I'm more to be held accountable. If I say something, my word means a lot. So you're definitely going to get straight answers from me, and I'm going to be able to get the solutions that we need to get done.
Excellent. All right, Letty, I want to thank you for answering all of my questions. But before I let you go, I want to give you an opportunity to provide a closing statement and let the people know how they can get a hold of you. So go ahead and speak directly to the homeowners.
Okay, thank you, Mark. So again, Leticia Labrada. I have the Tasty Bites Charcuterie. I don't know if you see me out at the events, but I love talking to everyone. I love being a part of the community. I do think for 20 years it's been ran a certain way, and I'm not complaining about the results that we've had. I'm just saying maybe it's time for fresh perspective, a new set of eyes. It never hurts to tweak things a little bit. I'm not saying we're going to do complete change, but I'm saying a few items do need to be tweaked. So we can work on that together. If you do need to get in touch with me, feel free to come up to me at any event. I'm always happy to talk to anyone, or email me, Letty Ortiz 909 at gmail.com. So that's my email. It's Letty Ortiz 909 at gmail.com. Send me a message. Let me know what's going on. Let me know what items you need discussed, what situations you're dealing with. I will do my best to help. I'm here for the community. I'm not here for me. I'm here for you.
Excellent. Letty, thank you for taking the time to join me today. It surely has been a pleasure speaking with you. Good luck and bring home a victory. All right, there you have it, folks. Leticia Labrada. When your ballot arrives, read the instructions carefully. Make sure to sign the outer envelope or your ballot will be marked invalid. And cast your votes for Joe Nash and Leticia Labrada. Just a quick update. The April 29th board meeting has been moved to May 6th. I will be traveling, but I will attend via Zoom. Before I let you go, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button and drop me a comment and let me know what you thought about this episode. Don't forget to check out my other 2 episodes that dropped today titled Falcone versus TMT and The Underwoods, which is a podcast you will not want to miss. Until the next time, thank you for watching The Ranch Report. Take care.
Thank you.